Caris stood in the sterile white chamber of the diplomatic exchange station, his heart hammering against his ribcage. The neural interface behind his ear buzzed softly, translating the overseer's words into comprehensible English. "You understand the terms, human Caris." The overseer's crystalline form refracted the harsh station lights into rainbow patterns across the walls. "This union solidifies the treaty between Earth and the Zathrine Collective. You were selected based on psychological compatibility metrics and genetic viability assessments." Caris swallowed hard. 6 months ago, he'd been a xenobiologist studying extremophiles in Europa's subsurface ocean. Then Earth's government had conscripted him into the integration program, a diplomatic marriage initiative designed to cement humanity's fragile alliance with the alien species that had discovered them 3 years prior. He'd agreed. What choice did he have? Earth needed the collective's technology, their protection from the hostile species lurking in the galactic core. One man's freedom seemed a small price for humanity's survival. "I understand," Caris said, his voice steadier than he felt. The overseer gestured toward the airlock. "She arrives now." The door hissed open, and Caris's breath caught. The woman who entered moved with a grace that seemed to defy the station's artificial gravity. Her skin held an iridescent quality, shifting between deep violet and midnight blue depending on the angle of light. Bioluminescent patterns traced delicate lines along her neck and forearms, not tattoos, but living light generated by specialized chromatophores in her dermal layers. But it was her eyes that paralyzed him. They were large, golden, with vertical pupils that contracted and expanded as she scanned the room. Intelligence burned behind them, ancient, calculating, and utterly inhuman. She wore flowing garments that seemed to move independently, responding to electromagnetic fields Caris's human senses couldn't detect. And on her head rested a crown, not of metal, but of crystallized neural matter, pulsing with soft purple light. The overseer's form flickered with what Caris had learned to recognize as surprise. "Queen Salina, there must be an error in the assignment protocols. You were not scheduled for." "There is no error." Salina's voice resonated with harmonic frequencies that made Caris's teeth ache. The neural translator struggled to render her words. "I selected this human myself." Caris found his voice. "You're a queen. I was told I'd be matched with a diplomat, someone of equivalent social standing to a civilian scientist." Salina's gaze fixed on him, and he felt exposed, as if those golden eyes could parse his genetic code just by looking. "Among my people, Caris of Earth, queens do not sit on thrones. We are field researchers, explorers, the ones who venture into the unknown. Your species misunderstands our hierarchy." She moved closer, and Caris caught her scent, ozone and something floral he couldn't identify. "I studied your work on extremophilic organisms. Your paper on thermoacidophile adaptation in sulfuric environments was crude, but showed remarkable intuitive leaps for a species only recently achieving fusion propulsion." "That's my life's work you're calling crude," Caris said, a spark of indignation overriding his fear. The bioluminescent patterns on Salina's skin brightened, and her mouth curved in what might have been amusement. "Yes, and it is precisely that passionate defensiveness that interested me. The Zathrine have grown, efficient. We have optimized curiosity out of our evolution, but you humans, you still burn with it." The overseer interrupted, its crystalline body chiming discordantly. "This irregularity must be reported to the collective council. A queen binding herself to a species barely qualified for third-tier membership." "Is well within my authority," Salina said, her voice dropping to a frequency that made the walls vibrate. "Unless you wish to challenge a royal prerogative." The overseer flickered once and fell silent. Caris's mind raced. This wasn't a diplomatic marriage anymore, this was a political earthquake. "Why me?" he asked. "Really, what could a human possibly offer a queen of the Zathrine?" Salina extended her hand. Her fingers were longer than human proportions, tipped with what looked like mother-of-pearl. "Walk with me, and I will show you." Against every survival instinct, Carice took her hand. Her skin felt cool, smooth, with a faint electrical tingle that ran up his arm. She led him through the station's corridors to an observation deck. Beyond the transparent aluminum viewport, a planet hung in space, Earth, blue and white and impossibly fragile. 300 years ago, Salina began, the Zathrine achieved technological singularity. We solved mortality, scarcity, entropy itself. We became perfect. Her bioluminescent patterns dimmed, and in perfection we found stagnation. She turned to face him. "We no longer dream, Carice. We calculate optimal outcomes and execute them flawlessly. But the universe is not optimal. It is chaotic, beautiful, and fundamentally irrational. We have forgotten how to navigate it." "So you want to study us, like lab specimens?" "No," Salina's hand tightened on his. "I want to remember what we lost. Your species still contains something we eliminated from ourselves. The capacity for illogical hope, for pursuing beauty over efficiency, for sacrificing the practical for the meaningful." She pulled a device from her garment, a hexagonal crystal that projected holographic data. "This is why I chose you specifically. In the compatibility assessment, you scored impossibly low on survival optimization. You chose a career in science over lucrative engineering positions. You spent years in isolation studying organisms most humans find repulsive. You make no sense." Carice laughed despite himself. "So I'm a Queen's Trophy husband because I'm a failure by normal standards." "You are proof that evolution has not finished with humanity," Salina corrected. "The collective believes your species can be guided, optimized, perfected. I disagree. I believe you should remain beautifully, dangerously imperfect." The implications crystallized in Carice's mind. "This marriage isn't just diplomatic. You're making a statement to your own people." "Yes, and it will cost me considerably. The collective tolerates my eccentricity because my genetic line is valuable, but this alliance will be seen as contamination." Her eyes searched his face. "I am asking you to be part of a rebellion, Carice, not with weapons but with ideas, to show my people that there are paths forward they have not calculated." Carice looked out at Earth, at the home he'd left behind, then back at this alien queen who saw value in humanity's chaos. "I have a condition," he said. Salina's pupils contracted. "Name it." "This can't be a political prop marriage. If we do this, we do it as partners, equals. You want to remember how to dream, then we dream together. You want chaos, then you accept that I'll challenge you, disagree with you, and probably drive you crazy." For a long moment, Salina was silent. Then her bioluminescent patterns erupted in cascading waves of light. Purple, blue, gold, colors Carice had no names for. "That," she said, "is the most irrational proposition I have received in a century." Her hand found his again. "I accept." The overseer's voice crackled over the intercom. "The bonding ceremony is prepared. If both parties consent, please proceed to the sanctum." Carice looked at Salina, at this impossible, ancient, utterly alien being who had chosen him for reasons that defied logic. And he realized that perhaps the universe needed more illogic, more beautiful mistakes. "Shall we?" he asked. Salina's smile revealed teeth just slightly too sharp, slightly too many. "Let us shock the galaxy together, Carice of Earth." They walked toward the sanctum hand in hand. A human scientist and an alien queen, two beings who made no sense together, which was perhaps the most human thing of all.